At the end of the day, I think what made me who I am is that I had a strong dissatisfaction at where I was as an athlete, starting out. I didn't want to just blend in. I wanted to stand out.
Your mindset and the character it took to come out of a small school, hit the NFL. If you think about that idea of skill set and mindset, what's your edge over everyone else?
I'm sure a lot of athletes that have, obviously achieved an amount of success, I think when their doubt creeps in or there's naysayers or there's doubters, I think the best thing that I ever did was believe in myself. That's first and foremost. And I think after my third year in the league, after I made the catch against the Green Bay Packers, I think that instilled a lot of confidence in myself that I could play and I could play on a big stage. It didn't start out particularly well, but that's where the cliche, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And so for me, that mindset of just not wanting to quit, not wanting to succumb to just the ebbs and flow of the game and, disappointment, having short-term memory. Nobody's perfect. You're going to have those days. Some days you're going to have it, some days you're not. And it's the great ones that look beyond that mistake and just have short-term memory and go to the next play as if the bad play just didn't happen. That's where you have a small percentage of great athletes in every sport. It's that mindset of wanting to be great. I think Kobe said it best, and I think a lot of athletes that are hovering around that stratosphere of being great and considered one of the greatest is that it's a relentless pursuit of greatness.
You mentioned the idea of belief in yourself, and some days you're on the right side of it and some days they're not on the right side of it. But you talk about as you started to believe more and more in yourself. If you were to talk to somebody who right now who's struggling in that regard, what would you say to somebody who needs to believe in themselves?
Take advantage of the opportunities that you're given. It'll take you further than you can ever imagine if you just stay on course. At some point in life, we're all going to struggle. And I think that's what you're getting to. We're going to be confronted with something. There's going to be some obstacles that we feel that, we can't overcome, or when you're on your path to success, there's always going to be those roadblocks here and there. It's a part of life. And I think that's what's so rewarding when we do achieve what we achieve is because of those failures, because of those struggles, because of those roadblocks. It's really how you respond to it. I'm not saying anything that nobody else has said, especially that has become successful, whether it's in business, personal, it's in sports. But at the end of the day, we're all going to struggle. I struggled, but I didn't quit. And that's what I encourage a lot of people to do. Just don't quit. Their opinions are not your problem. No matter what is said or done, do not doubt your worth.
Let's talk about before you were known to the world as this football superstar. What was life like? What were you like growing up in small town Alabama?
Alexander City, Alabama. It's a small town. I was raised by my grandmother and my mom. Didn't have a father. Pretty much the majority of my upbringing with my grandmother, really, she kind of just really instilled a lot of who I am as a person and how I was able to really conduct myself and just be the man that I am today. So I owe a whole lot, of tremendous respect in how she basically raised me. She basically told me, people, when you start to become successful, you're not going to be 100% liked by everyone. And so there's so many layers and so many elements of being a professional athlete and being in that sport. You're going to be subjected to criticism, whether you do good or bad, and people are going to talk about you, good, bad, or what have you, but you have to be strong-willed. And I think that's who and how I was. And I think a lot of that, like I said, stemmed from the upbringing of my grandmother. And when you talk about how I was able to really sustain and flourish through all the things that, I went through growing up, I think the common denominator or the basis in which I was able to do a lot of those things was based on my faith. Church every Sunday. And so for me, my faith was everything. And I think that was very instrumental into a lot of my success. And a lot of people, okay, well, what is faith? What does that mean to you? Faith is belief in something that seems impossible. There was, my path to the success that I had, it didn't come easy. I was one of those kids that was a late bloomer. I wasn't a 4 or 5 star kid or an athlete coming out of high school. I wasn't heavily or highly recruited going into college. And so I relied a lot on really a lot of the things that my grandmother instilled in me, and obviously faith was one of those.
I love that idea of belief in the impossible. When did you start to believe in the impossible? Like, when did you feel like I got a shot at this NFL thing? When did that really take hold of you?
I didn't really know, honestly. Probably like once I got to the National Football League, once I got drafted coming out of college. I was drafted in the 3rd round, 89th pick. I remember being drafted by the Niners. It was very, very tough. It was brutal. I remember those days. But that was where I think a lot of character was built because, again, at that age, being a young guy, being a rookie, seeing guys as training camp progressed week by week, and then as they began to make cuts, you saw guys get cut left and right. And so I saw guys that were drafted, free agents that had come in. They were coming and going every day. And I felt like I was no different or better than any of those guys that were getting cut. I was afforded that opportunity and I took advantage of it. And so again, that's you think about, really, I guess the essence of what I've done. I've taken full advantage of the opportunities that were given to me everywhere that I've gone. And so again, with what I have going on now, given the opportunity, like I said, it could be historic. And so I definitely put myself in that category of guys that can obviously defy odds and do the unthinkable.
I can say it because I don't know if you can. You mentioned, some of the reports that are coming out. Listen, nobody's doing what you're doing at 47. Nobody. I mean, that's just unreal.
I mean, honestly, you have a relentless pursuit of really just perfection, greatness. But at the end of the day, I think anybody that wants to do something in life, obviously it boils down to my 3 Ds: desire, dedication, and discipline. But at the end of the day, the essence of what I just said, you have to be addicted to bettering yourself. Honestly, be addicted to bettering yourself.